Hey there, Phoebe here. It's day 9 of the video every day in July. I'm a lot better today, had an exciting morning, and I'm going to share about it. Technical issues are getting resolved, and I might have to buy a camera, but I solved my situation for now. It took me all day, and now I'm trying to figure out my printer. It's all the technology things. Is it Mercury in retrograde? I don't know. Anyway, yeah, so I mentioned coffee enemas. This might get a little graphic, so warning. Yeah, so what got me started on coffee enemas, I think it goes back to discovering that I had systemic candida, which is overgrowth of yeast, from having chemotherapy and taking lots of antibiotics throughout my life and all that kind of stuff. So we all have yeast in our digestive system, and it's good in, moderation, but it can get out of control and cause problems. So I've, been dealing with this for a long time. It's been a long journey, about 10 years. And so on this journey, I've tried lots of different treatments to clear up the candida. And then, it seemed like it was clear, and then it seems like, well, maybe this is going to be an ongoing thing I have to deal with. And then I learned about coffee enemas, and there are lots of different benefits from it, but it has to do with helping cleanse the liver. And before I learned about coffee enemas, I learned about liver, gallbladder flushes. The liver is the filter for the body. And so if you've had a lot of chemicals, if you had a lot of illnesses, the liver is working extra hard. If you eat foods that your body's allergic to, or eat foods, with pesticides and things like that, the body is working really hard to filter that out and keep it out of your system. And then I was also learning about fat and how our body protects ourselves from toxins by storing in the fat. Because, I'm like super clean eating and doing yoga and walking a lot, exercising, but I always still had this extra layer of fat around my middle, and I just was kind of wondering about that. I'm not really obsessed about weight loss or anything, but it's such a curiosity of mine, I guess. So I'll do weird things like a liver flush, and I'll look in the toilet and see what came out, because stones come out and they float, so it's pretty easy to see. I don't dig around in there. I don't go that far. But anyway, so I've been doing these coffee enemas, and I was talking to a friend in our coffee enema group, because let's face it, not everybody wants to talk about this stuff. And if you don't, I understand you're not going to watch the rest of this. But I was inspired because she was talking about how yeast and parasites and things like that can be more active at a full moon. So that's a really good time to increase the number of coffee enemas to really flush that out of the system. So the coffee, by the way, I won't go into the specific details, but an enema goes in the back end, and you're making coffee. So instead of drinking the coffee, it goes in the back end. And the idea is that it, something's making noises. The coffee gets drawn up into the liver, and the caffeine helps draw out the toxins through this one particular vein. I don't need to know all the science. If you're interested, I'm sure you could Google it. It's very fascinating that it works. My thing is like, let's try it, see how it feels. And I notice I have more energy. I notice my skin is much clearer. I have people a lot of times, commenting on my face, skin, and I'm like, I had acne for a long time. I don't think my skin's all that great, but it has sort of a glow about it sometimes. And it hasn't yet gotten rid of all this extra fat, but I'm like, well, I'm going to keep going maybe releasing all these toxins will help the toxins come out of the fat cells and all that too. Yeah, thought I'd do it. So anyway, I also live with my mom and my daughter, and we share a bathroom. Not all three of us, but there's 2 bathrooms and 3 of us. So I'm sharing a bathroom with somebody, and they are not that interested in what I'm doing in the bathroom with the coffee enemas. So I try not to do it unless my daughter's away for the weekend or something. So anyway, she was gone this weekend. It's a full moon. I'm going to increase. I did 3 of them yesterday, so that's kind of why I think why so much came up yesterday for me. And today I decided I was going to do a liver flush too. So I did 2 coffee enemas and then started the process. Well, I don't start it till 6:30 in a little bit. And that's a whole series, sort of a 24-hour, not even 24 hours, sort of a fasting and drinking Epsom salts and then olive oil and grapefruit juice, and then that flushes out. So anyway, the exciting thing this morning though was that so the coffee enemas, you could do water enemas too. So my friend and I were talking about candida and the coffee enemas, and she was having a lot of success with doing water afterwards. So I did my coffee enema this morning and then water, and well, actually it was before that. I did water first because when I do first thing in the morning, I start with water. And usually I can, take in like 16 ounces, no problem. And for some reason, it wasn't able to go in. And the water enemas, they just go in, and then you stop it, and then you go to the bathroom. And so I did. And okay, here's where it gets graphic. So sometimes when you're having some problems with it going in, sometimes it backs up into the bucket, which is okay, kind of relieves the pressure and stuff. So that happened, and so I decided to stop and go to the bathroom. So I went to the bathroom. Not much came out because yesterday I didn't eat very much by the end of the day, and I'd done 3 enemas, so it was pretty clean. So so not much in the toilet, but some odd things. I was like, maybe that's candida. I don't know. It's kind of fluffy, kind of clear. And then I go back, and I'm like, I better wash that bucket out because it flushed back through, so I'm going to clean that out. Well, it was clear, and I looked inside, and there were these things in there. I told you it was graphic. They were about 2 inches long. They were clear, and they were kind of fluffy on the edges, kind of looked like a centipede kind of a shape, kind of long with little fuzzy things. And there were like 4 or 5 of them in there. And so flushed those away and cleaned the bucket really well and everything. But that was my exciting news. I was like, I think that is candida being released. I've seen it in a big way in a colonic where it was white and kind of foamy looking. But these, not exactly sure. I haven't looked them up exactly. But anyway, that was very exciting. I felt like, oh, success. I had something exciting happen. So anyway, I've gone on long enough. I shared my exciting news, kind of graphic, gave you some info about coffee enemas, liver flushes. If you are interested in any of that kind of stuff, please shoot me, a question, an email, or whatever. And I did want to share with you one thing, so hang on. I mentioned yesterday that I was reading a book, and it's called Show Your Work by Austin Kleon. I can put a link to it in the comments or the description below the video if you're interested. It's pretty fascinating. It's for creative people. He also wrote the book Steal Like an Artist. Short. He does these cool things, like I used to call it found poetry, where you black out everything and then, so something like this. So you black out everything except the words that, kind of show up for you. So his first one was all that, and this one's a little bit different. Not all of it, but a lot of it for his visuals. And this one's not so much of that, but really great information if you're an artist, or even, I think, for healers, because we're on that creative mode, that it helps us figure out how to get ourselves out there and how to get our work out there and so forth. So anyway, Feel Like an Artist and Show Your Work. Great book. I mentioned it in yesterday's video. Sorry about that. Check it out if you're interested. And yeah, I'll see you tomorrow because it's, video every day in July. VEDIJ. Thanks for watching. Talk to you soon.